One of the more unique aspects in the beginning of the Shevach part of the Shemona Esrei is the reference to Techiyas Hameiseim, Mechakol Chaim Mechesed and Mechaye Meisim, V'neman Atol HaChayos Meisim. We have a lot of referencing. We say it obviously at the beginning of davening Elokai Neshama, but in our Shemona Esrei, this constant reference to Techiyas Hameisim, the resurrection of the dead. So much so that this is a part of our fundamental Emunah system that, of course, the Rambam, in his Yugimel Ikrei Emunah, counts this as the 13th principle of faith, that we must believe in the Techiyas Hameisim. There's obviously not the time and place to get into an entire shir on Techiyas Hameisim, but it's striking that in our tefillah we would put in the fundamental belief of Techiyas Hameisim. And in fact, in the Reform movement in the 1860s and 1870s, as they began to make major redactions of the Siddur and major movements in their own idea of tefillah, they took out part of this section. They took out the Techiyas Hameisim. So the question is, what is it doing here? What's the role of Techiyas Hameisim in the beginning of Shemona Esrei? So one approach is offered by Rav Moshe of Salant, who suggests that when we say this brach, we have in mind that we went to sleep at night, we got up, and we were in a certain way, we were dead in a certain way. We know that Chazal tell us sleep takes away 1/60th of death. So it follows that when we wake up, the same way we say Moda'ani, we formally remind ourselves that God woke us up this morning, that it was a mini Techiyas Hameisim. The Ritva suggests, though, when we in the bracha of Techiyas Hameisim, is of course what we're saying now, and we'll say it for another few weeks, is Mashiva Ruach. Why is Mashiva Ruach part of Techiyas Hameisim? So the Gemara in Brachos explains, because the miracle of the rainfall is equal to the Techiyas Hameisim. And the Ritva explains that when a seed is put into the ground, it disintegrates, and later after rain, it begins to grow and to sprout and to become something. So when the human body is placed in the ground, it disintegrates. By the time of Techiyas Hameisim, it will once again come back to life. So there is a few suggestions as to the nature of Techiyas Hameisim and why we're mentioning in the beginning of Shemona Esrei. But a final thought on Techiyas Hameisim. The idea of the belief of Techiyas Hameisim, why the Rambam felt it was so important to include as one of the 13 Yugimel Ikrei Emunah, is that Techiyas Hameisim is about the body and the soul. The fact that at the end of time, when Techiyas Hameisim occurs, body and soul are reunited. And although there is many questions to exactly how and when and what, the notion, as the Gemara in Sanhedrin tells us, that the body and the soul need each other. That when we're put into this world to serve God, to be an Eved Hashem, to come close to God, it is through the combination, through the synergy of our soul and our body. The soul needs a house, and that's the body. The house needs the soul, and we work together to serve Hashem. And the great proof for this is that our body and our soul work together, is that at the end of time, they'll be reunited once again. And in a very famous hesped for Herzl, Rav Kook goes into at length the nature and the connection between the body and between the soul, that both have a purpose, both serve a function, but only when they work in together with each other are we able to serve Hashem in its proper form. And maybe that's why we say it in the beginning of Shemona Esrei, as we are gearing up towards asking Hashem for things, as we are describing our relationship with Hashem, we are reminded of what we are supposed to do in our mission, a charge that we have in our day. To be an Eved Hashem is that my whole being, my whole body, my whole soul and guf, my neshama working in tandem together to serve Hashem.